Good morning. Today we are covering section 1.4, apply order of operations. All of you guys are familiar with order of operations. Many of you guys have memorized it by using PEMDAS, or please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. So go ahead and write down the different definitions. All of you guys should be familiar with the P stands for parentheses, E for exponents, M for multiplication, D for division, A for addition, S for subtraction. And we say that multiplication and divisions are best friends, as well as addition and subtraction. Because whenever they're right next to each other, if the multiplication is next to division, whichever is first is the one that we're going to calculate or simplify first. And we'll go through a few examples that will utilize this. Example number 1. We need to be able to simplify the following expressions. We have 8 minus 3 squared minus 5 times 2. So the first thing I want you guys to do, I want you guys to write down PEMDAS on the left hand side. First, do we have any parentheses? If you notice, we don't have any parentheses, so we're done with the parentheses. Exponents. We do have the exponent, we have 3 squared. Now, the 3 is the only one that's being squared, not the negative. Even though the negative belongs to the 3 is the only one that's being squared. And we're going to go through a different example. If you guys notice on letter B, the negative is part of the inside the parentheses to indicate that the negative is also being squared. So let's go and bring everything else down. We're going to bring the 8 down, the negative. Then we have a minus 5 multiplied by 2. Now 3 squared is 3 times 3, which is 9. So we finish with the exponents. Multiplication, we do have a multiplication. So we're going to multiply negative 5 times 2. Remember, the negative belongs to the 5. We're going to bring down the 8, the negative 9. Negative 5 times 2 is negative 10. Now, we don't have division. Addition and subtraction, we can think of those two, what's left as addition or subtraction. We are going to go from left to right, just like we did on the previous homeworks. So 8 minus 9. This is a positive 8, so they have different signs. We're going to subtract, that's 1, and we're going to keep the sign on the bigger number, which is the 9, it's a negative. Bring down the negative 10. The negative 1 and the negative 10 have the same sign, so we're going to add. 1 plus 10 is 11, keep the sign on the bigger number. Let's try letter B. Let's go and write down PEMDAS on the left hand side. First, parentheses. If you notice, we do have a parenthesis, but whatever's inside the parenthesis, there's no other number. So we can't simplify what's inside the parenthesis. Exponents. We do have an exponent. Now, just like I mentioned before, the negative 3 is being squared. And I need you guys to circle the quantity that's being squared in red. So make sure you guys have a red pen. The negative 27 comes down, division, and then we have negative 11. Negative 3 squared is negative 3 times negative 3, so that's positive 9. So we're done with the exponents. Multiplication, we don't have a multiplication. Division, yes, we do have a division. We are dividing negative 27 divided by 9. Negative 10 divided by positive, we're using our triangle. So we have negative divided by positive, our answer will be negative. Negative divided by positive is a negative. So that's a negative. 27 divided by 9 will be 3 minus 11. Now the last item, we only have one step, so we're just going to check. They have the same sign. We are going to add. Remember, this is a negative 3, this is a negative 11. We're going to add, and we're going to keep the sign on the bigger number, which is the 11. Go and try letter C and D, and then we'll check our answers. Go and pause it. Letter C. First, write down PEMDAS on the left-hand side. We are going to be simplifying the parentheses. If you notice, we do have parentheses, but the parentheses, there's only one number inside, and nothing else we can do. Exponent, we do have an exponent, is being raised to the second power. Let's go and write everything down. If you guys remember, we have that double negative that we talked about before. So I'm going to highlight my double negative, and that double negative becomes a positive 5, so it'll be just plus 5 minus 8 divided by 2 squared is 2 times 2, which is 4. So we finish with the exponents. Multiplication, we don't have multiplication. We do have a division, so we're going to divide. First, the 5 comes down, the positive 5. Remember, the negative belongs to the 8. So it'll be negative 8 divided by 4. Negative divided by positive. Negative divided by positive will be negative. 8 divided by 4 will be 2. We are going to simplify, so finish the division. The last step will be 5 minus 2, which is just 3. Letter D. Let's go and write down PEMDAS on the left-hand side. First parenthesis. Let's say I don't have any parentheses. Exponent, I do have an exponent. Only the 3 is being raised to the second power, not the negative. Remember, if it was also the negative, if it was negative 3 times negative 3, it will be written just like we have it on letter B. So let's bring everything down. Negative 6 divided by 2 minus 3 squared will be 3 times 3, which is 9, and then the negative 5. So we finish with your exponents. Multiplication, we don't have multiplication. Division, yes. So we're going to divide negative 6 divided by 2. Negative divided by positive is negative. So it'll be negative. 6 divided by 2 will be 3. We're going to bring everything else down. Remember that you want to be able to do step by step. If you're starting to do more than one step at a time, that's when you're going to make small mistakes. Now that we just have addition and subtraction, we're going to go from left to right. Negative 3 minus 9, they both have the same sign, they both are negative, so we're going to add. 3 plus 9 will be 12, and keep the sign of the bigger number, so it'll be negative. Bring down the next number, negative 5. Same sign, you add, that'll be 17, and you keep the sign of the bigger number, which is negative. Let's go over to example number 2 on the back side. On example number 2, it says to be able to simplify the following expressions. And I typed 2 examples for you guys that you guys can follow. But let's go directly into example number 3. Notice that we have brackets and we also have parentheses. So let's go and first write down PEMDAS on the left-hand side. The brackets are basically another set of parentheses. Well, because we have it inside parentheses, to be able to differentiate it, we place it as brackets. We want to be able to work the brackets last. First parentheses. We need to be able to simplify what's inside the brackets, and we do see a set of parentheses. We want to be able to simplify what's inside the parentheses. So let's go and rewrite this. We have negative 2, which we're going to work out last because of the brackets. So we have 6 minus. Inside we have 2 minus 5. Different signs, you subtract, keep the sign of the bigger number, which is negative. Remember, this is a positive, and this is a negative 5. Square, and then my bracket. Now, I finished my parentheses. Now exponent. So I'm going to take this to the exponent. Now remember, this negative is inside the parentheses, and then we're going to square it. So the negative is also being squared. We have negative 2, bracket, 6 minus, negative 3 squared, negative 3 times negative 3, which is 9. If you want to place in parentheses, it's fine. Bracket. So finish exponent. We have multiplication, but we first need to simplify what's inside. Do not distribute the negative 2. First, let's simplify what's inside. 6 minus 9, they have different sign. This is a positive, and that's a negative. So we're going to subtract. That'll give us a 3. Keep the sign of the bigger number, which is the 9. Now we are going to multiply. Negative 2 times negative 3 is positive 6. Remember, we are using our triangle. So negative times negative is positive. And we are done. Let's go and work on letter B. And I'll let you guys do letter C by yourselves. So let's go and write down PEMDAS. First, we are working with parentheses, and I have two sets of parentheses. If you notice, in this cell parentheses, there's only one number inside, so we can't simplify anything in there. But on this parenthesis, we do have two numbers inside. The negative is going to stay outside. 3 minus 9, this is a positive, that's a negative, so we're going to subtract. Keep the sign of the bigger number. We're going to bring down everything else. 12 divided by negative 2. So we finished the parentheses, we simplified what's inside. Now, exponents. Do I have any exponents? No. Multiplication? No. Division. I do have division here. First, I'm going to highlight my minus negative 6 because that's going to become a positive. Now, when we divide in negative divided by negative. Negative divided by negative will be positive. So positive. 12 divided by 2 will be 6. And our last step will be to just simplify, which will be 12. So we did the division and the other two. Go ahead and try letter C. Go ahead and pause it. See if you guys can figure out letter C by yourselves. And then we'll work it out. So for letter C, first thing we want to be able to write down PEMDAS on the right hand side. We are looking for parentheses first, and I do have two sets of parentheses. We have the brackets, which we are going to be working last, and then we have the parentheses. So let's go and simplify what's inside the brackets, inside the parentheses. We're going to bring everything else down. We have 3, we have a bracket, negative 5, negative 2. They have the same sign, so we're going to add, keep the sign of the bigger number, which is the 5. Plus 4, bracket, and then square. So we finish what's inside. Remember, we want to be able to simplify what's inside the bracket first. So let's go and simplify. The exponent we're going to do afterwards. There'll be 3, bracket, different sign, that's a negative, that's a positive, so it'll be 3. Keep the sign of the bigger number, which is negative. Now, whenever you're down to two operations, multiplication and exponent, we know that we have to work out the exponent first. So negative 3 square. Now, the negative is also being squared, so it'll be 3. Negative 3 times negative 3 will be 9. We'll place in parentheses or bracket, doesn't matter. Same thing. And the last one will be just 3 times 9 will be 27. And we finished them all. Please email me if you have any questions. Thank you. Have a great day. And I'll see you tomorrow.